Howdy folks, this is Mackie here with Mackie Red Horsemanship. One of my students, David, wanted to know if he could work with Zeb. Zeb's a horse I've had around for a while. I've really not done much with him for quite some time. I mean, when he first got here, we did a lot of stuff together, and he has a lot of skill. And as you can see, he wants to follow David, wants to be with David. So David's going to work him a little bit in the round pen. David does some really good things here, and then he does some things that we can learn from, we can benefit from, the good as well as the stuff that's maybe not so good, but he's got a lot of try. And Zeb doesn't want to follow him now because of that flag. Zeb's a little nervous about that, but no big deal. And David's going to start working him. And one of the things that we'll notice is Zeb's really, very willing to pretty much do whatever we ask him to do if he understands what it is. But David here keeps stepping in front of him, and when he does, Zeb wants to stop and go the other direction. And that's going to be highlighted a little bit later. That's a little further away. It's hard to see just kind of exactly where David's position was, but it was just a little out of position, and Zeb got a little confused. Now you'll notice Zeb really cuts the round pen off. He really does not care for any of this kind of work, and he knows that if he can get next to whoever it is that's working him, that there's probably comfort to be found there. Remember, your horse wants two things in life, wants food and comfort, and your horse will forego eating in order to be comfortable. So comfort for a horse is a big deal, and he's going to be hunting that from David here. And because Zeb has a pretty good feel for how this all works, we don't need to spend a whole lot of time running Zeb in circles. What I'm trying here to do is to teach David how to communicate with the horse, not just run the horse in the circle. Really honestly doesn't get a whole lot done, but learning how to communicate, learn how to talk to, probably more importantly, learning how to listen to your horse, that's the key to becoming a really good horseman. Horses are never going to learn to speak human. They're never going to learn to speak English, and hopefully we are smarter than the horse and will be able to learn its language quicker than it can learn ours. So that's what David's up to right now. And I think here coming up, I asked David to ask the horse to come to him. And David gets a little bit confused. He thinks I want the horse to yield his hindquarters, and when you tried to do that the first time, of course, it didn't. So no result. But here, David got it, figured it out, and Zeb comes right to him. Now Zeb has this habit of every time you want to raise your hand to rub on him, he'll turn his head away. And that's just his way. No rhyme or reason to it. He's a little bit nervous, so he's always looking over his shoulder. And that's what David and I are talking about. Trying to help David see the value of getting inside of Zeb's mind and being able to understand how Zeb feels about things. So Zeb plays this game for a little bit, and we work on it here after a while. Right now we're not terribly concerned about it. Zeb would rather be in his pen eating hay than out here messing with us, so can't fault him for that. But what we're doing is we're establishing ourselves, in this case David's place, as leader of this herd of two. And you'll notice that Zeb's licking and chewing and doing all those things. I told David to just go for a walk and see if Zeb would go along with him, whether Zeb wanted to be with him or not. And as you can see, why, sure enough, Zeb knows that if he can stay with David, that there's probably a whole lot less work in it. Here he stalls out because of the flag. David's pack. And David kind of lets it fall behind him, and Zeb gets a little nervous. David does a better job here now of taking care of his tools and making sure that his flag is not dangling way behind him. So David's going to go to the center here, and we're talking, the two of us, we're talking this whole time, by the way, but David is now going to send Zeb off the opposite direction. He was going clockwise, now he's going to have him go counterclockwise. Now, notice what happens here. You'll watch. David gets in front of him, and each time Zeb gets confused, it's almost like they were kind of doing a dance, and David just kind of, it's just a tad out of sequence with Zeb, and so that's why you saw that kind of dancing around thing there. But David figured it out, and now he's where he needs to be as far as his body language, his relationship to the horse, so that the horse can understand what he wants. And so he's going to have Zeb go around here for a little while, and it won't be too much longer, only because Zeb has it figured out that David will get him to trot. We're going to try to get him to walk, and then we'll get him to come up to David and just relax again. Again, if you look through all the videos that I have up there, you'll see lots of opportunities to see a horse being worked in the round pen. And, you know, there's really no way to teach this short of showing you how to do it, but the only way you're going to learn it is to go out there and do it. And you're going to make mistakes, and that's all a part of it. The great thing about horses is that they are incredibly forgiving animals and will overlook a lot of things that we as humans do when it comes to making mistakes. So go out there and work with your horse. Don't be afraid to make the mistakes. The only way you're going to get good is to get out there and do it. And so here David is asking Zeb to come to him, and we're going to come to the rail here and just let Zeb rest, give David the opportunity to kind of be with the horse. Now you're going to watch, Zeb's going to start taking steps to get closer and to get closer and to get closer to David, because he knows there's comfort to be found there, and that's what he's after. He's after that comfort. Zeb playing his game of dodgeball. Anytime David wants to pet him, he'll look away. And that's just kind of who he is. David's really done well. He's been around horses a lot in his life, but this is the very first time that he has really began to really study horses, understand horses, and try himself to be a better horseman. And it's been a real privilege, is a real privilege to get to show David these things. And he's a good student. He's out here about every day, and I wish I had 20 more just like him. So again, if you need a hand, give us a holler. We're around, and I hope we'll get to see you somewhere down along the trail.